Watching this while a couple is having a heavy makeout session in front of him, which is, again, it's Amanda and Jason Lee. Jason Scott, what's he going by these days?
It's Jason. He just spells it with an X so that people don't think he's the guy from My Name is Earl.
Right. But, you know.
He's not.
And they were really making out the booth, by the way. They said, well, it's going to be more authentic. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay.
They're married. It's okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
he also has one other off-camera bit. There's a bit with a talking dog. And the talking dog is Spike.
Well, that just goes to, that's logical.
That's logical. But I really had to kind of give Spike those things because, I mean, Spike is a very energetic, hyper guy, and he's, I think at the time he was a brown belt in karate. I think he's gone up since. And firearms, everything. I mean, you know, and here he's playing this wimpy boy. He's like, please, can this guy do something? No, he can't. You know, but can we just beef him up? No, you can't. It's not Shinji. You've got to understand.
Yeah, he was wanting to make Shinji more of an action hero than he really was.
So
he was an action zero. He was.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so here's my Perkins story. So a couple of years ago, I'm at this convention, and it's late at night because that's where you go when it's late at night, right? You go to Perkins. And it was like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
You know, it was like, thank you for the money, Cartoon Network. I mean,
and the free advertisement, because people might see it there who had never seen it before, and oh, here's a couple episodes, I wonder what that is, where can I see more of it? Why, you could buy it from ADV Films.
They did, in fact, eventually go ahead and show the whole thing. But, I mean, at the time they were doing it, it's like, you know, it's just, we were looking at the kind of stuff that they were putting on there, saying, you know, it's Cartoon Network's idea of anime, what anime was at the time, was not what Ava is. And it took them a while to get to the point where, okay, we kind of get it, and right about that time, they had a big changeover in staff, and then the new people there really don't like anime all that much. So, or I should say they don't like the money anime makes, because anime is a licensed thing they have to kind of pay for, whereas everything else that's on anime on Cartoon Network, they own. It's all Turner if you go back and look at it, and they own all the merchandising and everything, so they own it forever. They don't have to pay anybody anything once they've made it, and then they sell you the toys. So
I think Ava just on Adult Swim, I think it just ran one time all the way through. I think that was it.
Ran twice.
Twice? Okay. Well, twice. Not as many times as FMA has run, which is an awesome show, but not as many times as that.
And certainly not as many times as Cowboy Bebop.
They killed that show basically for me.
What I found fascinating about Cartoon Network and Cowboy Bebop is it didn't speak any order they were showing it in, and literally every time I turned it on, it was always the same episode. It was like, are they only running this one episode, or is it just my timing such that I'm always... Go fix it.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know how much you know about the actual the making over in Japan, but I was wondering if I had heard about when they were making the anime, the end of the series, they just couldn't show it because I guess people didn't like it over there, so they had to make that BS ending. I think it's BS anyway. The congratulations.
No, they ran out of money.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
if you hadn't noticed, the very last episode is the we really want that Christmas party in.
Oh.
Yeah. No, they literally ran completely out of money.
Well, it wasn't so much money, it was a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, talk to Jan.
I mean, you know, it was from the beginning. That was the ending. That was how it was going to end.
That was the way the story ended, but like the animation or whatnot,
that was kind of an artistic thing, like, okay, we've got to finish this thing, but they would get so...
But that is the way the story was supposed to end.
Okay, I thought in the end of Evangelion, I thought that was the real ending.
No, well, okay, it depends upon which one.
No, that's the FU ending. Like, oh, you didn't like my ending that I put on TV? Well, screw all you people, I'll kill everyone.
Yeah, they actually had intended to make another Ava series. And after the reaction to the ending, they decided to do a movie instead. And the movie was, it's very much like the Char's counterattack movie for Gundam, where it was kind of like, screw you all, we're killing them all. Except in Gundam, they hadn't ended the universe, so they were able to bring up new characters and start over again. But I mean, they left Bright Noah alive, and apparently he reproduced in the whole. But anyway, that's
On his own, like he made pods or what? Okay.
But yeah, the movie was very much a reaction to the public reaction to the end of Evangelion. Now it's funny because Tiffany is really good friends with the Japanese voice of Oscar, and
I love the way that like Yuko talked about when she was first working on Evangelion. She just assumed, like they all assumed working on it, that the kids are fighting the angels and we're going to defeat them all and everybody will be happy, yay. That's what she thought was going to happen. It's like the kids and their giant robots, they're going to beat these bad creatures and then everybody they'll just like save the day and live happily ever after, and that was not what happened. She was very surprised by this.
But I mean, the whole way Evangelion was made. Evangelion it's patterned after a movie a lot of people have not, or actually a TV series and a movie called Evangelion, which was actually one of the post-Gundam series by Tomino.
Space Runner?
Space Runaway.
Space Runaway, Evangelion?
Space Runaway, Evangelion, which also had a very odd ending, but was very dark and moody, and it's just never been brought over here. But it was always intended to be this anti-anime. It starts off as your classic anime premise, which is a young boy gets stuck into a robot and has to save the world, but the whole thing ends up being this big psychological game. Because if you actually watch Eva and you realize all of Eva, in fact, doesn't happen. It's all going on in Shinji's head, and it's never actually said, this is real, or Shinji's a nutball in a little room somewhere, or whatever. But all through the film, there's clues that, in fact, the ending is preordained, which is why when he's listening to a Super Datman for the music, the Walkman thing, he keeps flashing 25, 26, 25, 26, indicating that's when it's all over. So there's a lot of in-jokes in terms of the animation industry as to what Ava is really about. It's like, you know, I think that's Carl Horn, who edits the manga, I think, had one of the best summations of Ava ever. And someone once said, well, why do the kids have to be 13?
14.
14, excuse me.
Yeah, it was a kid, it was a packed room of an Ava panel. If you ever get the chance to see Carl Horn doing an Ava panel, you should go because he's fantastic. And this kid, he was very earnest and very sincere. Why is it so important that the children have to be 14 years old? And Carl, who was very earnest and very serious, said to him, it is very important that the children are 14 years old because that is the target age for anime in Japan. There you go. And that's